So hi, good day. So in this video presentation, we'll be talking about visual merchandising, and I am Lionel Sanchez. The topic for this presentation are the following: the history, to identify the roles and scope of a visual merchandiser, summarize the process of structuring a window calendar, visual merchandisers toolbox, health and safety, and best practices for visual merchandising. So in the history of visual merchandising, it has stood up for its very distinctive and valuable selling techniques and approach to pick clients' interest over the years. Visual merchandising clearly moved to great success and even has the power to influence each appearance's purpose, as evidenced by the use of banners, storefronts, outside signage, interior displays, window displays, mannequins, and even today by modeling the items. So retailers are already making an effort to attract customers by simply putting their products on display in the windows. So this caused a large number of customers to stroll in and make the purchases they were looking to make at the moment. All retail establishments, however, are advised that understanding how to properly care for the products, retain their authenticity, and even understand the rules for exhibiting them outlet and inlet is crucial to achieving success with visual merchandising. So the roles and scope of visual merchandiser are is to of course primarily to increase sales, just like interior designer for a retail store. First, by attracting shoppers into the store through the power of the window display, and then through in-store display and layout, which needs to encourage them to remain in the store, purchase, and have a positive retail experience, so that of course they will return. The VM's roles or virtual merchandisers roles for staff responsibility are as follows. Staff should know how to understand the how and the what products are to be displayed, know the blueprint of the store, arrange promo talkers, signages, and areas, create good themes to attract customers, maintain VM tools, neatly replenish goods, dust the products, maintain a fully stocked appearance, check and replace expired, damaged, and soiled products, and take necessary action to rectify any changes in the display. The VM scope are as follows: the exterior presentation, which includes storefront, mannequins, banners, entrance, the window and displays, and the store layout, which includes merchandise flow, creating clusters, and of course, accessibility is a major part of visual merchandisers. Scope, interior presentation, how the merchandise is presented, the color scheme of the visual overall visual merchandising. This is separate from the interior design color scheme. The visual merchandising's color scheme would change as also according to the season, according to the the release of new products, lighting, which it can also even include music, and it can even also include the order of the store. So these involve the different senses, not just the visual, but even auditory and olfactory. For the collective responsibilities, the top head would be called the creative director, and then you also have the senior visual merchandise manager director, the visual merchandise manager, and then you have the junior dresser or the visual merchandiser. And apart from them, you also have the carpenters, the painters, and the prop makers. So the flow is that a window calendar is a great help for retailers because it shows how to manipulate sessions, for its occasion to appear, and it's convenient also for the visual merchandise to navigate what should be used when creating this project. So others use paper charts, some use computer programs, depending on the business needs. So when the image and design work together to show what the schedule should look like in terms of the allocated time, visual calendar is visible. So creating or making this project, for example, can be tailored to a budget that will demonstrate the possibility of outstanding window displays, depending on what occasions to mark to create an appealing window calendar. Say, for example, for you have a display for allotted for summer, for perhaps for the holidays or for the rainy season, and then what have you, you know, in terms of the events and holidays. So this is the checklist for producing a successful window presentation. You have to allocate the budget, estimate and allocate the budget. Always produce a sketch before starting. So knowledge in SketchUp or whatever related software is an advantage. Must consider the space when planning. Decide where the main focal points are. Uh, of course, you have your principles of design. You should not forget the principles of design. Think about the products you will be presenting. You have to ensure that the main product should be highlighted in the visual merchandising scheme. Mannequins should be used or sympathetic to the product. Hire a You can also perhaps consider a graphic designer if it's possible for you. Color should be marked depending on your theme. Props should be at a high standard. It should be well finished. And the simplest windows are often the best, so use them properly. So these are what should be included in a visual merchandiser's toolbox: a staple gun, a staple remover, pliers, scissors, double-sided tape, pins, hot glue gun, screwdrivers, equipment used for boring holes, a bradawl, retractable tape measure, spirit level, used for ensuring a picture or that the graphic is level at a level, a wire, a selection of screws and nails. So health and safety should also be taken seriously. Visual merchandisers must ensure that the public space they are working on is kept clear at all times. When working in a confined or isolated space, such as a window, they must also ensure that they adhere to health and safety disciplines. So apart from the interior designer, should also know about the health and safety through the building code and fire code requirements. A visual merchandiser should also adhere to health and safety when it comes to putting up the props in display. So, points to consider: power tools should be used with correct protective clothing. Electrical apparatus should not be used near the water. Do not attempt to move heavy props all by yourself. Spray paints and strong adhesive will require adequate ventilation. Electrical cables trailing across the studio floor can cause accidents. Ensure all power tools correct protective clothing. Just a window without any footwear or to ensure that they don't ruin or mark the floor. Care should be taken, however, not to step on nails or staples. Speakers connected to the store's public address system should be installed in an isolated window to keep the visual merchandiser informed of any need to when there's a need to evacuate the store. Ladders should be firmly secured before use. Lighting tracks should be earthed and wired profession by a professional electrician. Never cut corners when wiring uh, lamps. Always ensure correct fuse is used with the correct plug. When using toxic paint, it is advisable to make sure that the window is well ventilated. It is often best to leave the window open while the paint is drying. For in-store display, mannequins must be secured, ladders must only be used with another person stabilizing them. Electrical cables must not trail across the shop floor at any time, and painted items must be dry before they are placed where customers will come into contact with them. So some of the best practices, perhaps, that I can show you is this window display from Christian Dior. It is simple, it is monochromatic. So sometimes a simple window display with an impact are the most effective. It can also be the most effective also. So if you can see it if you can zoom it, notice that the back mannequins seem to resist against the wall, so somehow it tells sort of like a story. Another one from Louis Vuitton. Again, it is simple, but it has an impact. Seems to also have a story. So it makes you want to have a second look, because it's very simple, and the elements surrounding it. There seems to be a focal point, which is the bag and the shoes, with all the CCTV cameras pointing towards the product in display. And then you have this Nike, where what is on display is just a single product, highlighting it as the main focal point of the window display. And then you have this one from Adidas. This image complemented, with a store bench where people who walk in will have a good time, be comfortable, and enjoy the soothing air with their ceiling interior. The visual for its coordinating the colors of the shoes, no, the lights they use, and of course the breathing space. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching the video.